If you've been feeling stuck, flat, like it's hard to enjoy some of the things that you used to, this isn't a mindset problem, and it may be depression, but it's not where you think. It's chemical, and it's cultural. You're probably dopamine fried. And most of the time, our dopamine is coming from places we don't even realize. We're chasing it and we're working against our dopamine system instead of for it. So today, we're going to dive into how to get dopamine back on our side so that we can feel the spark and some motivation in our day-to-day lives. My name is Dr. Gregory Donihoo, and this is ZenforMen. Men's mental health put into action. Real, practical change. If you're here, you probably have more questions about men's mental health, or maybe about relationships in general. That's why I wrote the book, Get Out of Your Head and Start Living, your survival guide to men's mental health. It's the fundamentals of the how-to question. When someone told me to be more empathetic, to self-regulate better, or to be more self-aware, this is how I got from no skill to feeling competent, confident, and comfortable in my mental health. I will put a link to that book in the description below. So when I think about dopamine, I think about it like most people would, the brain's reward tracker. It fuels us to pursue something. And it's not just about pleasure, it's about motivation to act. More than just act though, I call it the exploration chemical. Dopamine is supposed to teach us to experience new things, to raise the bar on our skill sets, to meet new people, see that sunset, taste that food. The new thing that says, yes, go and do that. That's dopamine. So it's exploration, not just pleasure. Think of dopamine like the gas pedal to get us where we need to go. The biggest problem with the gas pedal is that's not steering the ship. It will push us in a direction, but based on where we're aiming at the time, we may find ourselves in a place we don't want to be because the drive is too strong to get there. Dopamine in itself doesn't know what's good for us long-term. It just sees and it wants. If you've been watching the stuff by Dr. Andrew Huberman, he covers dopamine a lot and I love it, or even going into Dopamine Nation. It's a window. Dopamine performs best in this very centered area where we eat a piece of chocolate, boop, it goes up. It might hit that window, man, that feels good, it's perfect. Eat a piece of chocolate and listen to music and watching something on TV, boom. We will suddenly spike past that point and suddenly our baseline dopamine window goes higher and it's harder for us to do those activities that reach that window. Most of this concept we know, it's the idea of tolerance, that if we, too much of a good thing, right? But more than that, it's important to know what brings that window back down. What are we doing that is not productive to keep it in that range where we can feel satisfied and motivated in life without burning out that system? Instead, we're launching that window way out of reach to where everything that we're doing that would normally hit our dopamine activation, not a thing. That's where numbness and flatness comes in, where we have to autopilot our way through things instead of really feeling motivated and passionate about it. So here's the tricky thing. Because dopamine is a reward for exploration, it's kind of in everything. Now, the world of the internet has expanded our access to dopamine 10,000 times, billions of times, because we get to watch other people explore and experience things. Now, TV did this to a little degree, but man, social media and scrolling through videos and the rapid fire with the different stimulation, we are watching other people experience life at a faster rate than we ever have before. And our system vicariously creates that satisfaction and dopamine spike. The biggest problem when we vicariously get dopamine hits through watching other people do things is our system gets exhausted and we have nothing to show for it. We didn't do those things. Other people did those things. So my self-esteem, my ego, my sense of pride, I don't get to brag about that stuff, but I'm exhausted because I watched them do it. I feel satisfied. My dopamine window goes up because I felt excited, exhilarated for what they did. Then I don't have the energy to go out and do it myself. These videos and the vicarious watching of dopamine is robbing us of the motivation to have personal accomplishments. And we just don't have the energy after we watch other people do great things. To make this even worse, we can kind of feel this happening. And so I know in my experience, I've had to up the bar a little bit. I remember the first time when I started playing 2 video games at once. I would have one video game over here, and then I'd have a phone game, or I'd have one kind of a builder in the background, like a slow forum game, and then I'd have something that's more action-paced over here. Or the time when I started listening to music or listening to podcasts while I was doing this, or eating while watching this. We have to start stacking dopamine. And Huberman says that these spikes of dopamine are what raise this baseline of dopamine receiving up the highest, and we will numb ourselves out even faster the more we're chasing that high, because we can make it last for quite a while. In the beginning, it works. We stack up those activities and it feels fantastic, but we don't realize that we are boosting that bar way higher than we'll have access. And you know what follows that massive high? It's going to be a massive crash. But in this case, it's a little less dramatic than that. And it's just a period of numbness and low motivation. So let's break this down into what do we do in a modern world where exploration and vicariously living through other people's awesomeness is everywhere. First things first, we need to consume less and create more. One of the biggest producers of dopamine are creative endeavors where we produce something into the world. And this can even be entertainment value. This is why even games like Minecraft can feel great, because we are producing something. But whatever we create, it needs to be something. My rule of thumb is, can I brag about this? And to how many people can I brag about this creation? Because there are some things that I create that nobody cares about. And I would love to be in a position to say what I care about should be of the utmost importance. And it is important. But what we can do in our lives in order to feel connected and feel proud of our contribution to the world, it follows back to one of the first books about how to live a thriving life, which is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. We need to be doing something that is of value to other people. So if I'm doing something that's of value to myself, even if I'm creating it, it is going to have some, but limited effectiveness on my dopamine levels, especially sustainability. So I say to myself and every guy that I work with, if you're going to create something, eventually you're going to have to find a way where that created thing benefits other people. Your dopamine levels and your sense of accomplishment and connection will shoot through the roof. And we're more likely to continue doing something that benefits other people. So again, more creation, less consuming, because back to that consuming, we may get the dopamine reward, but we get none of the experience and satisfaction and life skills so that we actually feel proud of our accomplishments in life. We view their accomplishments, we feel satisfied, then we're drained and we rest more. Or we need to double stack on addictive behaviors to ramp back up into the dopamine zone that we've shot way up into the atmosphere. So some basic examples of this to cover different categories. Instead of ordering in, cook the food. I don't care if you just have to cook noodles and throw a sauce on it. Any amount of you're doing the work is going to add for more dopamine enjoyment. Play some of the music yourself or sing it instead of watching those videos. Write something down or create a story instead of scrolling and letting someone else do that. Even some of these imagination options where you didn't do it yourself, but you're at least imagining it, has a huge weight in being proud of something that we did and we accomplished. Real dopamine is sustainable when it rewards pursuit, not just passive absorption. So rule number 2 is unstack your stimuli. I like to refer to this as monotasking. So I used to do this with the coin flip method, that if I were about to do something dopamine related, especially if I were to do 2 things, I'd flip a coin. Heads, I'd go ahead and do it that time. Tails, I would abstain. I'd stay away from it. And that gave me some brief points where whatever I'm doing, I am singularly focused on that one thing instead of stacking that activity with dopamine, with food, whatever it is. Unstack your stimuli so that you're doing one thing at a time as much as possible. Your dopamine is far less likely to spike past that window. And lastly, in addition to creating instead of consuming and unstacking your stimuli, try to give yourself boredom time. Boredom time is where we sit and just observe. This is so essential because we are locked out of our own system because of how much we're entertaining ourselves with stimuli. There is so much truth within us. And in fact, I personally believe that there is no such thing as boredom. Boredom is a word that we use to describe an unidentified discomfort. Because if we actually sit with boredom, we may actually realize there's a cause for unrest and restlessness. It's not a vague feeling. It just means we haven't identified what's going on yet. Give yourself specific moments of boredom. Call it meditation, call it sitting outside and watching the sunset, whatever you want to call it. Bring some quiet into your life, even if it's just no music, no podcast in the drive time. Sit, be with your thoughts, be with yourself. You'll be amazed at how much your self-awareness and dopamine levels will slowly start to come back into the picture. Now, there's another part to this process that I'm going to go into in another video called voluntary distress. It's not just how to limit your dopamine, but how to actively lower through our actions, how to lower that window of dopamine. I'll go into that next time because it has been a game changer for my dopamine life, which means my clarity of thought and my overall contentment and positivity. So if this content has been helpful for you, please comment and subscribe. It makes a huge difference on the algorithm and allows me to make more content for the guys who may need it. So thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.